Hello, everybody, and welcome to our very, very next insider conversation with the famous Montoya family, wonderful dancers that they have worked with, danced with, trained with, traveled with. And what makes this a very special conversation is that I was part of the Montoyas for a few years back in the 90s, and so on and so forth. So it's really, really been a very, very special evening for me tonight. Also because we are commemorating the life of Jose Montoya, who became Don Jose a few years back and who sadly passed away very recently. And I just thought it would be a fantastic way of honoring him, his legacy, his family, and everybody that in so many ways has been touched by his generosity, his love, his passion. He really, really was a very, very special person. And in so many people's lives, he had touched them. So let's say, first and foremost, a welcome to Elena Montoya, who became Dame Elena Montoya also a while back, knighted by the Spanish king at the embassy in Pretoria. So, hola, Elena, ¿cómo está?
Muy bien, gracias.
And then with Elena is her daughter, Mandy Lee, or Maria Lorca Montoya, who has in so many ways, again, been part of my life first as a young dancer, then later years when I was with the South African Ballet Theatre Ballet Company. She became an assistant and an administrator and had done so many things just to make life easier. And again, touched by so many people's lives. So, hello, Mandy.
Hi, thanks, Dirk, for all of this.
It's indeed an absolute pleasure. Then we have from Nelspruit, Mbombela, I think, if that's correct, Karina Pascual, who danced with the Montoyas for so many, many years. And I can't wait to hear your stories, Karen. Such an amazing person and such a generous person as well. Hello, Karina.
Hi, Dirk. Yeah, it's been a long journey.
It has indeed. So I'm looking forward to having your stories. We have in Hout Bay in Cape Town, Shay Adams, that has worked with Mandy and the Montoyas a lot. Hi, Shay.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's so nice. And Shay recently became a mother, so we're going to be talking to Shay about motherhood and dancing, because also with us is Roslyn or Rosa Jimenez, if I'm not mistaken with the name, and her daughter Madison. Hi, Roslyn.
Good evening, Dirk, and thank you for including me to this panel, and good evening to everybody else on the panel.
And hello, Madison. Nice to have you with us. And then in the studio with the Montoyas, and they're going to be dancing for us in a little while. We have Adrian Mare, we have Atang Metlape, and we have Junior Hill. And I just think it's amazing that we are able to have Jose Montoya. He taught and trained Elena, married, had the kids, worked with Karen. Then there was the dancing with Roslyn and with Shay. And then the very, very next and very last generation, we have these three youngsters and Madison. So it's really, really great to have the three of you with us as well. Thank you very much for joining us, you three. Let us start with a video of that takes us on a journey with Mr. and Mrs. Montoya. And that was indeed an amazing, amazing journey with the life of Mr. Montoya, Mrs. Montoya, the kids, and all the dancers. What an incredible experience. Yes, so Elena, let's talk a little bit about how it all happened for you, and then the marriage, and then. So please fill us in. That would be amazing.
Okay, started off with ballet with Joyce Seaborn, and then Montoya drove through from Joburg all the time on his scooter, and he started teaching in a little hall that we walked through to get to ballet. And walk through, and I would watch the Spanish and then go and go and go. And I obviously looked like I was interested. And then he said to me, well, why don't you join the class? And my mom said, join. And that's how I started Spanish at the age of 12 with Montoya. And that means that's like 60 years ago. And she's so honest on lives. Then I did up to intermediate ballet, but I was a ballerina. And I remember my dancing teacher, Joyce Seaborn, saying to me, your turn will come, don't worry. And my turn came in Spanish dancing. And then when I left school, I was the secretary for attorneys. And that was a little bit boring for me. And then I started going to my Spanish lessons in my charge back to work with these roses. And then I had a full-day job. I started mornings only at the, and I would go and start training to teach. And then when the day came that I wanted to throw the typewriter out the window, I realized I must resign the secretarial job and just teach and dance. So that was how it all started. It started in Kruger Street with a studio there, and then at soccer in town near the State Theatre now. Started there, and my mother and I used to catch buses and we walk up and down hill and everything, and I joined my life to it. Then, as you know, we got married, and I had my 2 children, and all I can say is, and I hope this can reach people who are watching, when we got divorced, people said to me, break away from the Montoya name and start your own company. And I said, no, that's not what's going to happen. And I carried on with the Montoya company and carried on and carried on. And what I want to say is I give all glory to my Father God for keeping on this journey and not letting me give up. It wasn't easy, a lot of downhills, a lot of rocks, a lot of knocks, a lot of stuff, but the passion and the gift that we've been given by the Lord, Montoya and myself. I became an examiner of the Spanish Dance Society, which was a total honor. I did TV programs with the late Mercedes Molina in Segovia. I examined all over Europe, Australia, South Africa. I've done it all. And I'm just grateful now that my daughter is carrying on the legacy. Our 2 little grandchildren from Mandy and Chelsea have started their Spanish, that the 3rd generation is also involved. And to say is no regrets. One of my theme songs. No regrets. We have this amazing dancers around, and if you have a dream, there's always going to be boulders in the way and knocks in the way. But be big enough to follow your dream, follow your heart, and give all glory to the Lord for the gift He has given you. And you will fly and never give up. So I honor Montoya, him. If it wasn't for him, there would have been no Spanish in Pretoria. And little Pretoria wasn't the big city, a little town. So we were kind of, some people won't understand this, but it was like we were in the Chopsa. We were in there behind, and everything else was bigger and better. But he traveled on the scooter. The scooter's name was Gertie. I even traveled on the scooter with him. My parents didn't know. And then he moved eventually to Pretoria, and the journey just grew. And rest in peace, all glory to you. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have become a dancer, a Spanish dancer, a teacher, the medals examiner, etc., which my daughter wouldn't have become because I wouldn't have had my kids. So exactly, none of us would be here. Yeah, none of us.
Exactly.
Montoya wouldn't be.
Exactly. So what I want to do now is about 3 weeks ago, we spoke to the Spanish Dance Society, and of which Mandy and you and Roslyn and I think Shay are all members of. And so we didn't get to play a video that Marina Kiet really wanted me to play. And Marina, my sincere apologies for not playing it that time. And you are such an amazing person. So it is a video of Conchita del Campo, the chair of the Spanish Dance Society in the UK, dancing the jota. So let's quickly take us into the Spanish Dance Society, because the Spanish Dance Society is kind of what holds all of you, I think, in this conversation together. Of course, there are other things that happen, whether it's ballet or whether it's Alianza or other societies, but I think the understream of it all is by the Spanish Dance Society. And I'm also knowing that the former president of the Spanish Dance Society, Sir Jeffrey Neiman, is also watching, and both him and Brian have sent love, Mandy and Helene, to you both. So let's watch the video of Conchita del Campo in the jota with her partner. I love it because it's the balletic aspect of mixing Spanish dance and classical ballet that I really, really enjoy. And for many years, I love dancing it. We have a noisy panel in Victoria in the studio. Can I ask either Mandy or Roslyn to kind of give us a little bit of a background and a story about what the jota is? What is it that we actually saw a moment ago? So let's start with you, Roslyn.
What you actually viewed was the Malagueñas from the Spanish Dance Society. Actually, it's not really a jota.
Roslyn?
Yes.
Yeah, continue, Roslyn.
And it is a regional dance from Spain. The Spanish Dance Society focuses on various types of Spanish dancing. It's an umbrella term for the different types, such as flamenco, regional dancing, neoclassical, and escuela bolero, of which you saw the Malagueñas that was demonstrated by Conchita del Campo in England. And the Spanish Dance Society was started in 1965 by Rhoda Rifkin and the late and Dame Marina Keats, the lady you mentioned now that said she would have liked to have seen that video. So that's the history of the dance that you saw there.
While I'm having you, let's talk also about your connection to the Montoyas.
I trained in Sasolburg with Rosemary Simon and Bart Simon. And I did ballet in Spanish, and I danced with them until I received my advanced level. When I went to Pretoria to further my studies in art, I then met Helena Montoya. I had joined her studio, and after dancing with her for a while, my very first time that I met Jose Montoya was when I danced at the Ola Theatre together with Helena Montoya and her dancers. In fact, Karen was there too, and it was the first time I met Jose Montoya, and he asked me to join his company, and from that time onwards, I used to perform together with the company for a couple of years, performing all over South Africa, locally, and at a restaurant called Viva España in Midrand almost every weekend for a couple of years. So my relationship with the Montoyas comes a very long way. I met them 25 years ago, became very good friends with Mandy Lee and her sister Adine, and the friendship has never ended. My relationship with the Montoyas has brought so much passion and joy to my life, and I definitely have received so much support and have grown so much in the Spanish Dance Society because of Elena Montoya, Jose Montoya, and now Maria Lorca Montoya, who has taken over the Montoyas.
Thank you very, very much. Let's talk to Karen. Karen, you have been part of the Montoya dancers for a number of years, because I remember that when I started there in 1993, 94, you were there, and you were there before, and I see the photos. So let's talk about you and your dancing and your passion and what the Spanish dancing has meant in your life.
Oh, wow. The Spanish dance has been my life, my passion, my soul. And yeah, it's been 48 years about that I've been part of the Montoya family. And it's just, when I stopped dancing, I was devastated. It was the worst for me ever. It took me a long, long time to get over not dancing, not performing. But I kept in contact sometimes with gaps, but I was always around, always there. And it was quite funny because I met Elaine when I did one of my exams. I started with Jose Montoya when he was teaching at a Technicon. And I met Elaine when I was doing my exams, and she was pregnant with ID. It was quite funny, and the thing was like, you've got to get ready, and Elaine was all pacifying, making us all feel happy, and so the two of them really molded me and formed me, and I went on to study ballet at the Technicon, and my second year, I went overseas to Spain with Elena and Isma Everard and the Benejos. And that just changed my whole direction, my whole life, my soul, actually. And it was just from there, like Rosalind said, I performed constantly all over the world. It's actually strange being in Nelspruit at a moment, because we're on our way to Sudwana, strange route, but yeah, different story. To go diving, so I do scuba diving now. But we performed so many times here, and I was mentioning it to my husband when we were driving around, the times that we performed in Nelspruit for the Defence Force, at Hoedspruit, at Casa de Sol. We danced there so often. And it was, funny enough, I kind of, people thought I looked like Elaine. Could never perform like her. I mean, she's just brilliant. But it was such a compliment for me that people started thinking that I'm Elaine. And she was home running the studio, and I was like standing in for her at all the shows. She was looking after the babies and the girls and everything. So I get to do all the little shows like Stella and Bits Onder the Water. And that was just brilliant. So my journey with them was I was basically the unofficial adopted child, I think, or unadopted child. There in 80, when was it, in 95 or something, 2000, we did a show, just the Montoyas and me, and it was fantastic with Elaine and Laurie and Mandy, 18, and CH2, the two guitarists that we called Sonskine and Leafing. So we had so much fun with them, and it really, I just felt they were my family for so many years, and right back always. Um, I come from a big family, from we 7 kids, but the Montoyas adopted me. They understood me. They knew where my soul and my heart and everything is. So just dancing with them, knowing 18 from when she was a little bump in her mom's stomach, and Mandy, so many roads and so many memories that it's just absolutely brilliant. You can't take it away, and it's just always there.
Excellent. Let's hop on the plane and fly to Cape Town, Hout Bay. So Shay, a very different kind of beginning, a very different connection to the Montoyas. Talk about your journey. You were mentioned in the previous Spanish Dance Society conversation as well. So talk about how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, so I came, or the Montoyas came into my life only a few years ago. I started Spanish dance when I was a young child because my mom was looking for something more for me to do, and her ballet teacher, who was Veronica Williams, and my mom had done ballet with her when she was a child and had done Spanish as well, which she didn't enjoy at the time. Many years later, my mom decided to return to Spanish and took me along. And I started with my SDS exams. It was not love at first sight for me. But yeah, I think when I was a teenager,
Let me interrupt you. Let me interrupt you and say, so if you say it wasn't love at first sight, why not? Because if there was something that was strange or different for you, and yet you became who you became, how did you overcome that? Do you understand what I'm trying to get at?
Yeah. As a child, I think I had done ballet as well, and ballet was definitely a first love for me. And
I love hearing that.
Might surprise you. And when I started Spanish dance and heard flamenco music, and I mean, flamenco was the thing that was big at the studio that I danced in, and I think generally in Cape Town. And it was really foreign to me. I mean, the music was weird. People were pulling their faces into all of these strange expressions. And I think, when I was a teenager, I got to choreograph my first piece, and something just clicked, and I suddenly understood it, and I understood the facial expressions, and it all made sense to me. Yeah, you can see all my facial expressions now. And something just clicked, and I totally fell in love with flamenco. I mean, you all know that I don't really do anything else. I teach Spanish dance. I teach the regional and classical, but it's not really what I do. Anyway, I went on to perform with Wilvin, which is Veronica Williams' studio, and then with La Rosa, who and the director was the late Carolyn Holden. She at the same around the same time I started teaching, because I had then decided that this is what I want to do. And I kind of started going to Spain to study at the time and to attend classes there every year.
So
And
where exactly in Spain did you go, and who did you do class with?
So I first went to Amor de Dios in Madrid, because that's where you're supposed to go. And there are a range of teachers there. And then thereafter, I mostly went to Festival de Jerez in Jerez. It's a big flamenco festival that happens there every year. And I've done classes with many dancers. I try to do classes with as many as I possibly can, because I feel like that's what's really influenced my style as a dancer, the exposure to different styles. And yeah, after going for a few years, I think, I'd always known about the Montoyas. I think Helena examined me for my segundo annual exam at some point, when I was very young. And yeah, I always knew about them. I always knew Mandy Lee, but not personally. And then we met at the Spanish dance. We met at the 50th anniversary celebration, and yeah, we kind of just clicked, because it was like this family that we'd found in each other, I think, I hope. And yeah, and then I think it was the following year, Mandy asked me to come and teach a course. And I performed with them as well, and I've done that now a couple of times, teaching courses and performing. And for me, it's just a really special family to be a part of. I feel like I've really found something that I had unknowingly been looking for all along in my Spanish or in my flamenco life. And it's connected me with so many people. I think Rosalind as well. That's mostly how we've connected as well, or how we began our relationship as well. And yeah, it's really for me, it's been an important part of this stage of my life.
And have you and Mandy and Rosalind danced together yet? In one trio?
I'm not sure. Have we danced together?
Together, really together, not in the same show.
Same show, not together.
I want to see that, please, ladies.
Not yet.
That would be fantastic. Exactly. I would love to see you and Mandy and Rosalind together on stage post COVID-19, please. So let's please make that happen. Seriously. I would love to look at one of our galas when we do the ballet competition galas, to have the three of you on stage together. So let's see whether it's in Cape Town or in Johannesburg or something, because that's a dream of mine, to be able to see the three of you together. Let's move back to Pretoria, back in the studio with the noisy bunch. You get the Brady bunch, and then you get the noisy bunch. To Mandy, let's hear, what is it like? Because, the Spanish Dance Society has, not the Spanish dance, the Spanish family, or they have knighted Mercedes Molina, they have knighted Sir Geoffrey, they had knighted Dame Marina Kidd, they had knighted Mavis Becker, who's a big love in my life. And then they knighted I think your dad first. And then separately, they knighted your mother. And so I think it must be only you and Aideen that can say we have two separately knighted parents in our lives. So Does that put a lot of pressure on you as the teacher, as the dancer, as kind of following in their footsteps, taking the Montoya legacy further?
I think there was more pressure at the beginning of my career to kind of make my own name for myself and not to be seen as Jose and Helena Montoya's daughter. So I think for me to come into myself as a dancer and a teacher, that was like many years ago, like 15 to 20 years ago. That for me was what I had to work really hard to just show that I'm capable of doing this on my own, in my own capacity as my own person. And it took a lot of hard work, but my parents gave me the space as well as pushing me at the same time. I can't think there's any pressure to keep. It's more, it's not even, it's just passion I am. It's, I know what I would be without. I did have, when my that thing able to walk back.
We're having a very bad connection at the moment.
My husband.
And if you, maybe Mandy, if you can move closer to the screen or to your computer so that we can maybe hear you better.
And I'm ready for that, because after he did that for me, this become my dad everywhere. I think it's just more. Is that better?
Let's see if that helps, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I think it's not a lot of pressure at all. I think it's such an honor that I can say this is who my parents are. How many kids get to brag about that? You know, my sister and I, when I was looking through the old videos of my mom and dad dancing and these old photos that you're showing, my sister and I had to talk about it, and we said, look how amazing they are. We never realized this when we were kids, because we were either backstage or on stage. We didn't actually see it from an outsider looking in, and I think we've noticed it more since Dad's passed. Yeah, just the my dad's life, the criticism that he received, he learned from it. He never took offense to anything. Anyone that pointed a finger, he used that to push him harder. And he just created so much. And I think what an honor that I am here to actually take that forward.
Absolutely. Well said. Let's watch a little video of Mom and Dad and some more of the dancing that the Montoyas did, after which we're going to watch the 5 dancers in the studio do their Sevillana. So while the video is playing, please prepare the room so that we can see your Sevillanas then after that. Good. Let's watch the video. Amazing. Isn't that unbelievable? So let's now, I hope you guys are ready in the studio. This is the first time that we are doing this with a live performance on our Insider Conversation. So, Mandy, are you guys ready?
Yes, we are. We're just going to do 2 verses of Sevillanas. We've picked on our male dancers to dance for us. So Junior's going to dance first and Adrian's going to join him after that. Oh.
Perfect. Looking forward to it. Ole, well done, well done. Adrian, come closer to the screen, please. Because Adrian, you have been training with the Montoyas. Hi, well done. Thank you very, very much. You have been dancing with the Montoyas for a while, but I think Mandy also mentioned something that you have 2 brothers that are also training with him or have at some stage danced with him. Is that correct?
Yes, that's true. So I have 2 younger brothers, eldest, I'm 26. There's one aged 20, and then the other is now matric at Pro Arts Altenburg. So all of them went through the Montoyas. All of them trained with the Montoyas, and we've been so privileged to have known them.
Fantastic. So let's talk about, no, I have not finished yet, come closer. Let's talk about how do you see the future of Spanish and flamenco dancing in South Africa? And then Junior and Atang, you can move closer, and Madison, I'm going to ask something similar to you guys, because these ladies that we've spoken are of now, and we also have to look at what needs to be done to keep it wonderful and popular into the future, and how do we ensure that we continue to have Spanish and flamenco dancing in South Africa and around the world. So let's start with you, Adrian.
Sure, that's a very good question. Well, I think there's Spanish dancing in South Africa it's already so small. There's a lot of small sections around South Africa. It's not very big, and I think there's a lot of well-known names, brilliant people doing a lot of stunning stuff in South Africa. And if we can just collaborate as one company in South Africa doing Spanish dance, that already will be something that's missing. You know, we're all doing our own thing from different places, and if we can come as one together, train, learn different styles, and I think that will build this country and for Spanish dance.
Atang, from you?
I feel that we're already so lucky because from what I've heard, Spanish dance was so hard to find before until now. Now there's a lot more studios that actually do it professionally. And I think we're already in the right direction. And I just feel as though the Spanish dance itself is bringing so many people together that it can only grow from this point on.
So what would you like to do, Atang and Junior, and then Madison? What would you guys like to do personally to make it more fun, more accessible, more in the pockets of many of your younger friends? Forget about my generation and older. We kind of the has-beens. What can we do about the future? Tell me more about that.
Well, I have already started sharing performances with people and basically showing them what Spanish dance is all about. Because there's a lot of communities in South Africa that don't know anything about dancing, and especially Spanish dancing is also one of them. So I've realized a lot of people don't know that I do Spanish dance. So I've decided to show people that I do this and this is what's happening in this. And it's an amazing thing to do because of get to express all your emotions out and everything is just, it's an amazing place. And I feel like showing my friends and other people, it actually encourages them to actually join the studios and do Spanish dance as well.
Madison, what would you want to do at your age? Now, I know that Madison is super talented. She's a fantastic tennis player. She's a wonderful artist. She's a beautiful dancer. So Madison, you have something so special. How would you do the marketing? If I say to you, come up with a marketing campaign for Spanish dance in just South Africa amongst your age group, what is it that we have to do differently? Because what it is that we are doing is fine, but not enough.
Well, there's so many things that I can think of doing. Like, one of the things that I love about Spanish dancing is that it isn't taken as seriously as most other dances. It can be, but I find it's very fun and expressive, and I don't know, we could use so many things. Like, for example, now with all the TikTok challenges and dances that you're hearing so much about, I think we could find a way to also kind of include Spanish into that, and kind of we need to move with the rest of the world. Like, we need to keep up to date and make things fun and make challenges for Spanish dancing and all of those kind of things. Because I think our generation likes to be challenged, and I think we have a bit of a generation that likes to show off a bit. So I think it would be amazing. I think it would be amazing if we could just find new ways of doing things, new ways of sharing our dancing with each other, because we like to connect with everyone else and just share our dance form and spread it among our whole generation.
Well, the reason that I love what you are saying, I really, really think that's amazing. And the reason why I started having these conversations is that even if we just look at the South African ballet world, we have no idea of the level of dancing that kind of existed as recent as 20 years ago in South Africa, at 30 years ago. Watching that video of Elena and Jose, the level of the dancing is incredible, and we kind of just take it all for granted. And so it's really, really important to always understand that dance comes from one generation, gets passed on to another generation. It goes through some challenges, it goes through some changes, and then it comes out new and refreshed on the other side. So I really, really like some of those ideas that you have brought up. Shay, if it seemed like you were agreeing or you were thinking that she was saying something that is worth mentioning. Is that correct?
Yeah, I definitely agree with what all of them are saying. I guess I'm kind of in an age in between. um, and yeah, I definitely agree, especially what Adrian said about the collaboration and just being able to work together. And I think that um, Mandy, Lee, Roslyn, and myself have successfully started that, and I know that we would all love to do more of it. And I definitely think it's the way to for us to grow things here and for us to improve and um, for the standard to just develop and for things to move forward. I think that's the big key, because like Adrian said, we all in our tiny little bubbles all
Silos.
over South
Yeah.
Africa, and and the way to move forward and to grow is to work together. So yeah, I agree
Absolutely,
with
because I
all
think
of
so often
the
we
young folks.
we are threatened by the other companies, whether it's in ballet, whether it's in flamenco, whether it's in contemporary. Instead of saying no, 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 each company has their space. How do we make more space for everybody? How do we cross fertilize so that we grow it so much bigger and so much faster? Because that's the thing. And I think something that Madison had mentioned with the TikTok is that things are happening so fast that if you don't stay up to date, something else is going to be sexy and funky way, and people would have forgotten the amazing thing of ballet or flamenco. No, no, no. And I think let's put this as a challenge to Rosalind, to Shay, to Mandy, to Elena, and say, let's create this TikTok challenge. Let's do something like that, and actually let's make something really amazing. Why do we have to wait for an international company to come up with some amazing ideas? No, why can't we come up with some of the new and fresh ideas? So let's put that in the back of our minds and keep that going. I would like to say to Karen. Karen, you mentioned you danced for 48 years with the Montoyas. And what I said just now is that you sit on this incredible wealth of experience, of being there, as being a member of the company, not necessarily the leader of the company, because that's something different. It's the dancing expertise. I mean, I know that you did the designs of the programs and etc. And you were always busy with things. I do know you were helping to sell tickets, etc., etc., etc. But what advice would you give to the viewers from the outside, but also to our people on the inside, these youngsters that are here? What would you say to them to say, get better, get stronger, whatever it is that you would, in a way, is what I asked this question to somebody else. What would you give your own 12-year-old, 14-year-old, 16-year-old, 18-year-old version of Karen, which is Atang and Junior and Madison? What would you say to them?
Well, Dirk, a lot. But firstly, just before I answer your question, just to go back to um, the topic of how to get Spanish popular again. Jose and Elena did a brilliant job with their company when they started affiliating with other dance forms. I mean, they were for years and years affiliated with PACT, performing in State Theatre, obviously me as well. But for so many years, they were part of the PACT annual program. They then went and got affiliated with SWARC, which was Southwest Africa, now Namibia Performing Arts Council. And that really went such a far way. And I think when the other dance forms can start embracing Spanish again and not only look to hip hop and rock and pop and whatever it is, which I love, but I like the discipline of ballet and Spanish. Once they embrace that. And Mandy did a brilliant show last year with Cinderella, where she incorporated Zulu dance and jazz, and it's just fantastic how you can see the line going from one dance form into another, and like you say, not separating it, but putting it all together, separate yet together. And that's kind of what I would say to the youngsters as well. Make sure you know in your heart what you want, go for it. Don't solely focus on that. You have to get better by knowing other stuff as well. And then you perform with your soul. You don't just do steps. You've got to dance from inside. And that's why I love jazz music as well, because that is performance from the inside. You've got to make sure who you are first, and then you put it out to the world and perform them. And let the world know who you are. Never stand back. Never, ever, ever. So
Okay, that's very, very true. What else?
I just want to say something.
Yes,
I want to say
Senora.
something. Yeah, just walk with Chief. What I want to say is the way things have changed, the way the world has changed, and I'm not talking virus or anything like that. I'm talking about the art. We are not sponsored. I'm talking about us. My daughter and I, we do not rely on sponsorship to get on the stage. We take the choice. We go to the theatre where we go, we get the bill, and we look at each other and we say, we're going to do it. And if we don't, well, we'll try again, but you have to pay your expenses. Those days of programs and collecting adverts and everything to help the show, we now have to do it ourselves because of the love and passion. And we cannot depend and rely on sponsorship. You have to be grateful to the Lord for giving it, as I said before, and go in there. We book a theatre, we do it, and we just hope and pray that we don't have to be in debt afterwards, but we give everybody the opportunity. And my saying always was, I don't only want to put the brilliant dancer on stage. I want to put the person on stage who has the love and the passion to be there. If they pay me a fee to learn, I will put them on stage. Doesn't matter their talent. They will get on stage. And if it's only 1 year and then they leave, they've had that, they gain confidence. We teach adults, we get ladies in who have happened in their lives, a lot going on, and they walk in and they start the class and they drag in because it's been a bad day, but they walk out smiling and chatting and have been uplifted without taking medication. For me, this is the medication. This solves so many problems. I'm not talking about normal or proper illness. I'm talking about being depressed, being down, being this, that. And we go to the studio sometimes to teach and you think, oh, am I going to get through this? And the music starts, the dancers start, you forget about the reality. And I always said, I wish to live on stage and I have to step off to reality because that's where I always wanted to be. So people mustn't use the excuse of sponsorship. You must go for it and you will succeed. The passion.
Absolutely. So that is exactly what it is. And that's what kept you going. And that's kind of what I asked also in Karen earlier around what does it mean to you as the dancer? We know what it does in our lives. We know it is incredible. That's Ricardo Koopman who said, I love listening to these incredible stories and wonderful experiences and memories. And then Frida Maimela said he or she is really inspired by the conversation, as has Ancient Fern said. And sometimes we forget that we know about it, but we don't speak about it. And so we kind of, our experience becomes our little experience in our world, but we don't share it, and we don't get people to understand how sometimes it literally takes us from the toughest day, the hardest week, the most monstrous month or year, and it really inspires us and gets us up and going. So that is really, really important. So thank you very much for that, Elena. We're getting close to having to say goodbye. So let us ask each one of you from Madison. Madison, I'm going to start with you. Then I'm going to go to Atang, then Junior, then Adrian, and then I will stop and we'll do the others. But your final message to your friends, your family, other youngsters interested in dancing, what would you say to them as a final farewell and goodbye? Maddie, let's start with you.
Well, the only thing I can think of right now is if anyone's interested, just give it a try, because I don't think enough people understand that when you join a dance studio, when you just fall into rhythm with everyone else, you immediately feel like you belong and you become part of a family that you can't find in any other sport or activity or anything like that. It's like when you fall into rhythm with everyone else, you all just become one, and it's one of the best feelings, and I think it really just unites everyone. And I think more people need that in their lives. So I think anyone who just wants to have a bit of fun and join a family should just give it a go and see what happens.
That's unbelievable. Maddie, just kind of remind us, how old are you again?
15.
You see, the wisdom of the world in that little mind. Thank you so much, Madison. It's really, really beautifully put. Atang, top that for me, please.
Well, I think that all I can really say is that if you were to try anything in life, I think it is to dance. I would always vouch for Spanish, but of course, any form of dance will it will help you in your personal life, with your own mental capacity. It will do wonders for you. And you, like Madison said, you get to be a part of something so big and something so beautiful, actually, because I don't know, we all just, even if we're fighting our own individual battles in our own lives, when you come together through dance, we don't even need to understand what each person is going through, but we get it and we can be there for each other and help each other through that. And I just think it's the way to go.
Thank you very much, Atang. I was listening to a conversation the other day where people spoke about the audience. So they are sitting in the theater and they are all going on the same journey, and they're all starting to breathe together and feel together and emote together. And that is exactly the unity that I think both Madison and Atang has spoken about. Junior, your last thoughts.
Well, all I would like to say is inspire before you expire.
Yes.
That's all I can say. Because in life, you need to you need to figure out what you want in life. Fight for that thing. Push every single day of your life. Think of that thing first thing when you wake up. Think of that thing last thing when you go to bed. That should be your motivation and to inspire others through what you do, what you want to do in life. Before it's too late.
Exactly, before it's too late. Very, very wise words. Thanks, Junior. Adrian, your thoughts?
Well, for me personally, life has thrown a lot of curveballs, and you can always find healing through dance. And it's because of people like Mandy and Helena that I am where I am today. And I'm forever grateful, and there's nothing I can give back to them. And dance will change your life. Dance changed my life. You love it and your passion every day. That's the best thing you can do. And
Thank you
I'm
for that.
forever grateful for that.
Well spoken. Roslyn, your final words. And again, to everybody, thank you very much for being with us.
I would like to say that I would like it if all the young people watching this tonight, together with other teachers in the Spanish Dance Society, that they, I would like to encourage them to be ambassadors for the Spanish Dance Society. Like Madison said, go out, speak to your friends. People don't know what Spanish dancing is about. Put on a show in a school, or put a show on in a local cafe, like the Montoyas have been doing for years, and Shay and all of us. We try and do an annual show every year because people will not be drawn to the classes and participate if they actually see it firsthand. Seeing it on YouTube or watching videos of flamenco videos from Spain, it's not enough. It's not the same experience as actually seeing it in real time and experiencing it in real time and experiencing the music. So it is up to the younger generation to spread the word and to not be afraid to speak to their friends about it because it's not cool. You know, other dance forms are sometimes more popular. If we think about Maslow's hierarchy of psychological needs, with food and shelter being some of the base needs and self-actualization being at the apex of those needs, we know that dancing is a form of self-actualization. And in a country that we are living in, where a lot of people don't have their basic needs met, it's really difficult to focus on something else that, like Karen would say, would feed your soul. But I would like to challenge young people to turn that pyramid upside down. Focus on self-actualization. If you want to be a dancer, go for it. If you want to be an artist, go for it. Ignore those people that are negative and tell you that you can't do it. If you focus on self-actualization, and as Elena says, it becomes meditative and therapeutic, you will actually have the strength and the courage to actually go out into the world and to produce the basic things that you need as well. I know that it's difficult, but don't give up on the thing that feeds your soul. Concentrate on living out your dreams. And it's actually up to the youngsters to do it. We are all getting to a point, as you said, that we've experienced a lot of things. We can share our knowledge now, but it's the youngsters that have the energy to demonstrate that energy and that enthusiasm and that motivation. And I would like to encourage them to do that.
Well, Roslyn, listening to your conversation, I understand more where Madison comes from. So it was really well spoken. Thank you very, very much indeed. And then I know in 2014, you and Mandy took part in the gala that we hosted with the young stars from around the world. And then you landed up in Korea, if I remember correctly. So those are kind of the fun things that can happen. And people often think, you know, what's the future in dance? What will it mean to me? And from self-actualization to just ancient Fern writes here that it's better than medication. It is exactly that. It helps you be who you would love to be. So that really, really is beautiful. So, and then Geraldine Metlape, which I suppose is your mother Atang, writes that you come alive on stage being a dancer and that it has pushed you out of your shy skin into a beautiful performer. So yeah, that is exactly what it does. It creates that space for you to just be who you want to be and can be. Shay, your final words and goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with what everyone else has said. Something that I grapple with is the relevance of flamenco in South Africa, and why do we do this Eurocentric art form in, at the tip of Africa? Does it have a place here? Should we be doing it? Should we be teaching it? And like everyone else has mentioned, we know personally what it does for us and for our souls and all of that. And I firmly believe, and the longer I do this as a performer and as a teacher, the more I realize the relevance in South Africa, in the South African context, and in a human context. I think, like others have mentioned, it's incredibly the power of expression rather than dance. I think is an incredibly important um, an incredibly important part of who we need to be as humans. And like someone commented, I'm also a shy person. I'm not into speaking or any of this, but dancing is something that's where I feel I can be myself truly, and it's the only place I'm comfortable. And I, apart from dancing, I really hope that people can find that thing that makes them feel totally okay to be themselves and to express themselves. And whether people dance professionally or come to class once a week or at the moment once a month, it's incredible what people experience when they dance and when they allow themselves to express. And I think that the art as a form of expression to me is the most important thing we can do for ourselves and those who live in the world with us.
Absolutely. And we talk about the Eurocentricity, and it's a very good point. But so often we think that by liking flamenco or Spanish dance or classical ballet, it means that you are diminishing the space of the other more traditional dance forms in South Africa or in whichever country you are. And it is not. It's just saying, I find this as a language working for me. So some people are very good at speaking and some are not. And some can speak through their dance. Some become choreographers and are even better at expressing themselves in their choreography. And I think this is what is so amazing. And I think you put it so beautifully, and it kind of then touches onto what Karen had spoken about earlier, about exactly, there's hip hop and there's flamenco and there's jazz and there's all of those other things. Some prefer this, some prefer that. And I think this is what we have to learn in South Africa, is to create space for ourselves, but to allow space for everybody around us. So they can come into our space and we can go to their space or not. And it's okay. And I think that is very, very important. Karen, your last words.
Dirk, well, just thank you for allowing me to be on the panel, and Mandy and Elaine. Always fantastic to see all of you, Rosie. Just for the young ones out there, it's not only a matter of dancing and being your best and practice. You must always be better than yesterday in your dancing. But there is an obligation of the young ones to drag their friends and their families and their boyfriends and girlfriends to the live performances. Go and watch the shows. Go and support the people that are dancing. And, once they sit in your audience, like Elaine said, they start feeling the vibe. And so many of the audience, of the spectators, became participants. And that is how you grow the flamenco. That is how you grow performing arts, is to get people at live performances. Rosie said TikTok and, watching videos, it's not the same. It's fantastic to watch. It's fantastic to do. But we also have that to get the people to the shows, get them there. And by getting them there is getting you to show yourself to them on stage and off stage. So yes, guys, let's go and do the shows and watch them.
Very important. Go and watch them, and please don't ask for free tickets. As Helena had said, there is no sponsorship. So please, you go to the physiotherapy, and do you ever ask for free physiotherapy? No, you pay for the physiotherapy. So please, when you go to a performance, pay for the performance. Please, please, please know that it's a job. It's not a hobby. Shay, Roslyn, Mandy, Elena, that's what they need to do to be able to put food on the table. Don't disrespect them. Don't diss them by asking for a free ticket. Really, really, really pay the bloody ticket and watch the show, and you will feel better. It will be much better than going to the psychologist or psychiatrist, because it's cheaper. The hourly rate will save you, but it is really a great experience. I have again from Brian Van Riede saying, fabulous discussion, everybody, and well done. Thanks, Sir Brian. We really love that you and Jeffrey are watching. And then Hendrina Voss wrote a very beautiful thing. So Lauge is going to put that on now. Just saying, Spanish dance, among many other dance forms, is so expressive. Each dancer has their own expression, even in doing the same steps. I thrive on capturing their emotions and feeling to share with all. Thank you, Hendrina, because that's really beautiful. So let's go now. Finally, the whole evening was really honoring the Montoyas. Laurie first, and then Elena and Mandy. And Aideen in Australia, I'm sending much love. But Mandy, your final and big goodbye.
The last couple of months Dad died were hard, but the one thing that stayed very stable for him was the dancing and music, praise and worship music. We all know he was such a huge believer. And I think that's why it's so important to be true to yourself, because you don't know how long you're going to walk this road here on earth, and you can't do it pretend to somebody else. You need to be true to yourself. You need to be true to who you are. My dad was given a talent. He was born to be on stage. God led him to Mercedes Molina. She saw his talent and she made him blossom into the dancer that he is. And he took that passion and he took that talent and he took that gift from God and he used it in his life. My gosh, did he use it. And he just had such a passion and such a love and such a drive. And it can only be an inspiration to people. He was pointed at and said, you will never make anything of being a dancer. You can't do that with your life. And look what he did. Look at the discussion we're having. Look at these young people that are dancing, that are inspired. My daughters, my husband, he's a sound engineer. I mean, he fell in love because he saw me dancing on stage. Just be true to yourself. Be true to who you are. Don't lie. Don't lie through your dancing. Don't be false. If you follow that gift, talent, and who you are, you will be in abundance. And I just feel it's about faith, it's about truth, it's about honesty. And if you believe in that, what will come out when you're performing and when you're dancing and you're learning, and it's just such a huge world and a huge road, and utilize the talents of your friends and your colleagues and your students, your parents. I mean, I love doing courses. Shay and Roslyn, I've had Carolyn before she passed away, she did courses. I've had Rosanna Maya doing courses with us. Murray from Joburg has done courses with us because, it's very difficult for us to sometimes afford to go to Spain. But look at the talent that we have in this country that I can book on a Mango airline and get them into a cheap B&B. Just share their love. Don't be scared to get people to teach you. If you are a teacher, don't be scared to get another to come into your studio and teach your students. Because if you open the world to your students within your studio, they will stick by you. Because you've given them the door, you're opening it, but they're in their safe place. I mean, we learn from each other. Don't ever stop learning from each other. That's what it's about.
That is so amazing. And keep on doing the amazing work that you are doing, Mandy, with the others, indeed. Our dear friend Lisa de Kock wrote, wonderful to hear you all, inspiring and emotional, remembering all the amazing memories of dancing with the Montoyas. Lots of love, Lisa. And Lisa, lots of love back to you. It really is great to know that you are watching, and your friendship has meant so much to all of us for so many years. Then again, Geraldine Metlapi says, the arts need our support. Let's all support our artists as they dance their hearts out. Keep up the good work. As I said, pay the bloody ticket and make sure you support the artists. Now, before I say goodbye to Elaine, Elaine is one of the smallest dancers that I know. When I stand with my arm to the side, she fits under my arm. And she prepared me for my elementary exam. Now imagine her trying to fix my arms or something. She would sometimes get on a chair or sometimes just say, you know what, you are so tall. And a true good teacher would say in the end, I don't know what it feels like to have those long arms. So Junior, I can identify with you, because Elena would say, okay,
Yes,
this is
sir.
what it should be, but work out what works for you in the music, because it is such a different experience. Elena, your love, your support over all of these years has been incredible. Your passion, your care, your big heart. Apart from your talent, walking on stage, performing, which is what we all love about you. But it really is that caring spirit that I find so amazing. You know, in the beginning of lockdown, we called one another once or twice and just spoke and just were there to just have an ear. And that is what makes you who you are, the mother, the grandmother, and the fantastic teacher that has touched the hearts of so many, that brought the love and the passion from Jose beyond Jose, and that's still with us. And we are blessed to have you in our lives, and we love that we have you in our lives, and we love what you are doing. Your final words of farewell, and that will be the end of our session for today. After you have said your goodbyes, next week, before you speak, we will have Julio Boca, superstar from American Ballet Theatre, talking about a charity performance that they are doing. We will have Adele Blank, super choreographer, fantastic teacher, choreographer, friend. We share a birthday, the 14th of March, and a wonderful choreographer, teacher from Senegal will join us as well. So please make sure that you join us at 7 o'clock next week. Let's return to Dame Elena Montoya for her last words and her farewell. And it has truly been an honor to have each one of you with us today. Thank you so much. And Elena, particularly for your love and care. Your last words.
Dirk, I'm very emotional at the moment from your words, for which I thank you. I thank you hugely, if there is such an English word, for what you are doing, and also recognizing us and bringing Little Pretoria Montoya Company out like this across the world, across the globe. And I thank you, and I bless you, and I praise you, and your little Alex smile that just goes right round as well, and his eyes. my heart, number one, to the Lord. We all have different religions and everything, but you're talking. I thank God and I thank Him every day for giving me the ability and the power to be able to get this far and to give me my daughter to carry it on. And I can help her and guide her in many ways. Sometimes the opinion is necessary, sometimes it's wrong opinion, but that's what it is about. You cannot say you must. No, none of us must. It's got to come from all the way down to your navel, and it must come out from there. It's not. It's feeling, it's passion, it's you. And none of us are the same. So she will dance as she dances. Not I hope on this planet I can do what this child does. And Mandy dances Mandy. I danced me. I didn't want to be like the next person. The next person will never be like me because we are different. We are all made differently by the Lord, and He's blessed us all differently with this. And I thank God for that. I thank you, this program and the platform, and for what you are doing, bringing in people in the country who are there and there, but I dance the world together. And it's amazing. Thank you, and God bless you richly.